Hello and welcome to the TEC South Asia Championship League powered by LG UltraGear. We are here to witness an amazing quarter-final matchup between two really strong teams in Exulansis Esports, who are on red side in game 1 in this best of 3 series, and Kekxile, who are on the blue side. And join with me today in casting this amazing match is my friend Red Bro, aka Shahrukh Ikhtiar. What's up, Red Bro? How are you doing?
Hey, Bishi, looks like we're in for a cracker of a game as these two teams are really strong contenders from this region. And this is the semifinal of the tournament, so whoever wins this does go on to the final, if I'm not mistaken.
No, this is the quarterfinals, but yes, the
Okay.
winner goes on to the semi-final. So still one more
Right.
step to go. But
Yeah.
quickly coming on to picks and bans, and you can see already the AD carries are being targeted by Exile, which is quite surprising because Ansari himself is such an amazing player, and they chose to get the Aphelios out as well as the Kaisa to make sure that Dead Corporal is not on any of these hyper carry AD carries. On the other side, Lulu ban coming on because XLE has shown that they can play Lulu here and there, and Lissandra
Right.
because their mid laner Fahad loves to be the primary initiator a lot of these times, playing these
Yeah.
initiating mid carries. So standard, somewhat expected bans, but you can see already there's a first pick Graves coming out, and Graves right now is just really good, isn't he, Red Bro?
Yeah, Graves right now in the jungle is one of those solid picks that you can just lane with, farm with throughout the jungle phase, and then he's gonna come out swinging whenever he has those items ready. And even until then, he is a very strong duelist with his armor that he gets from his E. And a lot of junglers right now, they're not really AP centered unless you are running Echo or let's say Talia. So that gives Graves an advantage over a lot of junglers if he finds them in his jungling path. So yeah, that's a really strong pick coming out for Exulansis.
Oh, I think I was muted. My bad. So
Yeah.
on the other side, you actually see the Bard getting picked, Red Bro, and
Yeah.
then instantly gets countered by the Varus and the
Yeah.
Karma. So that's like poke into poke, which is
Yeah.
very surprising because it makes it for a very strong bot lane. As we see a small disconnect coming out, I pretty much think he wasn't able to lock in.
Yeah.
But it gives us some time to figure out like the Bard composition, and like Bard is really good when he uses his ultimate. He
Yeah.
is able to provide a some sort of an initiation in a sense, like he catches his people right there, can be very annoying to deal with, does have a lot of mobility through his E. So very surprising to see that picked up. But I think against a lane of Varus and Karma,
Yeah.
like the Ezreal and the Bard are really going to struggle right now.
Yeah, like Bard is one of those champions like Timo who has like this global taunt, and whenever you see a Bard, you just want to chase him till he dies, but then he uses his portal through a wall and then stuns you with his Q, right? And I think that his ult is really good when you're trying to tower dive early on in bot lane with the support of your jungler if you have like that sort of weaker lane to face off against. I'm not sure if that would be a good idea against a Karma and Varus, given the fact that they do have defensive options available through the Karma shield and the root. So that might be a risky dive right there at level 6 early on. But in terms of actually initiating in the mid-game team fights, if you're trying to tower dive somebody or trying to get mid control, I think Bard is really good if you're, aiming for that sort of a strategy. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays against this poke composition, and bot lane's going to be really based around who actually dodges whichever's skill shots mostly.
Yeah, and I'm waiting to see what gets picked in response to the Varus and Karma. It's a really poke heavy sort of lane, and yeah, Ezreal should be okay, but I do not see Bard and Ezreal having any priority whatsoever against a lane like that. Maybe wait for the jungler to see if he can make some ganks happen, which is
Yeah.
still left to be picked, and yet it is going to be
Yep.
that J4, which honestly I like, because there's a lot of people with no dashes on the bot lane. If you
Yeah.
jump on the J4 on the Varus with the Jarvan for using your Cataclysm, with your EQ as well, it's not going to be possible for him to run away unless he uses Flash. Now here, Galio would just simply be, mwah, I would say, if they can get it. But I think Kekxile right here,
Yeah.
or Exile, or whatever you want to call them,
Yeah.
they are or should look towards banning that out. I
Yeah.
also like the Mordekaiser ban, because Scythe can just pick that top lane and pick it blind, and he can be in a very good
Mm-hmm.
spot. So Scythe will be the focus right now, because his top laner is still yet to be picked.
Yeah.
And a Scion ban, wow, that's not something I was expecting. I'm guessing both these teams must have done their homework.
Yeah.
But
Probably.
Light Crow, as he's currently, is like, he was once Crow, then he switched to being Dark Crow, which
Huh.
was a very dark side of a very wholesome guy. And then now he calls himself Light Crow, because I believe he's ascended in some form of his gameplay and his nature. So let's see what Light Crow comes up and plays this
There
game.
goes Maokai.
But Maokai again, so a lot of these tanky, blind pickable top laners
Yeah.
are taken out, and surprisingly, the biggest one isn't. And there he is. I was just going to
Orn.
say, Brad Bro, Orn was not banned, but now it is. And let's see what gets picked up
Are
right
we
here.
are we gonna see a
Exulances.
Volibear pick
I
coming up?
think Volibear is a great pick right now, and Light Crow does play it. Like, he has
Yeah.
played it in a lot of the scrims that we've been playing recently. He is a good Volibear player, and with all these tanks being banned, can be a
Yeah.
pick for him. Never mind, he opts for the Wukong,
Oh.
which he is known to play quite well, mind you, because he is very good at playing the champion. And with all these
Yeah.
tanks, man, it really fits into his composition. But let's see
Definitely.
what the response is.
Oh,
It's going to
okay.
be
A
a
set.
set.
Set. Classic pickup in the top lane, but ever since his release, Set has been a staple up there because of his huge damage potential and his dueling potential, and how he actually, holds the lane really well. Even if he gets ganked 2v1, he can still hold out his own and maybe get a double kill if he gets lucky and the jungler and the top laner makes a mistake somewhere down that line. But if you're looking at the matchup between Wukong and Set, I feel like Set has that advantage early on, but Wukong really doesn't need items to deal tons of damage. So it really comes down to how evenly matched, or how, which laner gets the advantage in the early game, because Wukong does deal a lot of damage, but Set has that innate tankiness with that W. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two champions actually fare out. Wukong with that deception ability with his W, of course, makes for that outplay potential, and Set mostly being a more simplistic champion, but if you can play your cards right, you can actually hold your own against anyone. I'm really surprised that Volibear didn't get picked, though. He has been really, really strong, hovering around above 50% win rate in both top lane and jungler, with a very good pick rate as well across all elos. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, so this pickup right here, I honestly am a little bit surprised why Galio wasn't picked. Like, I just feel it would just be so good in this composition.
Yeah,
But the set matchup is really, really interesting. But the Wukong can be a little bit lethal, but I just have to give an advantage over to Set. I just feel like his innate tankiness and the shield that he has will
yeah,
allow him to have a better time in the laning phase. And Katarina bot opts for the pickup to the
Oriana.
Oriana, and the flex that was shown with the supportive pickup right there, I don't know if it accomplishes much barring the block from Ezreal ult. But
Yeah,
the Wukong jumping in, yeah, maybe some disengage is required. So maybe Varus Prom in that sense does help out a bit. But that does make the bot lane more manageable for Dead Corporal Micro Ice, who, are two of the most aggressive players in Exulances. And that's saying something, because Exulances, the team, is generally very, very aggressive in terms of how
yeah,
they want to play. If they see an opportunity, Rage Quitter or Video Gamer as he is right now will
right,
not hesitate, neither will anyone else. So I like that the composition is kind of interesting if you look at Exulances, right? Like, you
yeah,
don't often see a bard in these competitive matches. So Micro Ice does bring that level of creativity to the
yeah,
draft. On the other side, though, if you look at Kekxile's composition, it's very, very fairly standard poke based composition. They like to siege a lot. They have three range champions in their composition. They can easily clear waves, and they have initiates and disengages. So pretty much an overall well rounded off composition. Now it all
right,
depends on how well these players will execute. But what are your thoughts on both these teams? You have casted some of their games before, and
right.
like now they are facing off in the quarterfinals. Yes,
Uh-huh.
Exulances are the first place seed, so they top their group, whereas Kekxile sort of came second in their group. They lost to NAD5 or NA Vanguard as they call from Sri Lanka.
Right.
So they have an uphill battle to climb because in terms of seeding, Exulances are higher, but in this quarterfinal, it could literally be anybody's game.
Right, so looking at both these teams, I'm going to address Exulances first. Like, if you look at four of their champions, Ezreal, Wukong, Orianna, Jarvan, you're going to find that this is primarily a team fighting composition, and they want to like engage as much as they can, right? But then you also have the Bard, which honestly fits in well with the composition in terms of how they want to dive in and just get kills, or just try to like channel the opponent team into a choke point where they can actually get that sort of alt combo going on. It might be good to use that Bard to that advantage of luring in the enemies, or let's say, for example, enabling them to tower dive in mid, or let's say in top lane, provided bot lane rotates after taking first tower. But I'm not really sure as to how he overall fits in there, other than those two scenarios. Yes, he's good at protecting the Ezreal, but in terms of engaging, I don't know. Like Ezreal Bard, I haven't really seen that sort of composition really doing it and doing them any favors, especially against a really, really aggressive lane like Varus and Braum, right? Varus and Braum, they're going to be willing to engage as soon as possible in level 3, or even in level 6, they're going to be really, really dangerous to face off against. And yeah, Bard does have that ult to protect himself, but you have to understand that he keeps himself still in one position, right? So if you allow Varus and Braum to like take up that advanced position when they're ready to do a re-engage in a better position, that's going to be curtains for him, because that is something that you really don't want a Varus and Braum to go through. Coming to the top lane, I feel like Wukong needs to be taken out early on, because if you allow Wukong to snowball or just normal farm, he really, really doesn't need that many items to be effective, just because his base damage numbers are really, really so high. And coming back to the point where I see that Exulansis has like a 4-man team fighting composition, he can be devastating, because you can just take that Orianna ball in with that invisibility and just do that whole initiate with the ultimate combo. But coming up to Kekxile, they do have a very well-rounded team. They have initiates, they have good damage in the form of Graves, Varus, and Set. Karma takes a little bit of time to ramp up through the early to mid game, but in the late game, she is just super annoying to lane against. Considering the fact that she goes full AP, because that shield, that root, and the Q damage is just so insane. And yeah, it's just going to take Karma a bit more scaling, a bit more time than Orianna to be more effective. But I'm just going to see out how the laning plays out. Like Jarvan has a better chance of ganking their lanes because he has CC in every single lane other than the top lane. And Graves, he might have a bit more difficulty ganking top lane or mid lane, because those two CCs aren't really that reliable, and he does not have an innate CC on his own, right? So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how these two junglers actually play out and support their laners throughout the game.
Yeah, I have a feeling Zahir is just going to farm up and try to out level the J4 because he will out damage significantly at this point, and it does look like Exile are just waiting for EXC to say, "Hey guys, just come at us," because we know you have an Orianna with a Wukong for the ball delivery system. We know you have a J4 Orianna for the ball delivery system, right? So I feel like they sort of are prepared for this aggression, but I have to point out here that this is a composition that EXE have similarly played before. I have seen them play Wukong a lot. The Bard ulti someone, and the moment they're in the Zonia Golden State, right? Just they're
Yeah,
sitting ducks to the EQ or the
definitely.
Wukong ult or the Orianna ult right there. So
Yeah, yeah.
if Micro Ice lands those clutch Bard ultimates to start off
Mm-hmm.
the team fights, then it's going to be really hard for Kexile to do something about it. But again, individual play really matters, right, bro? And this is where I have to look
Yeah.
at the guy in our screens right now. Katarina bot on this Oriana. He is an ex-challenger player. I think he's currently Diamond 1 or Masters, but he consistently reaches challenger in the last couple of seasons on the Karina
He is a
Super server.
showstopper. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of mechanically gifted players on Exulances, which on their fine day can just simply outplay their opponents through that. Whereas Kexile, like Ansari is an amazing player, and as is Scythe, but I think Scythe has a ping disadvantage, so he might be not as effective as you know him to be, because he himself is a master tier player. I believe he plays on the NA server or DU, so I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
he is a really, really skilled player. So we are looking at two teams, who have the skills to do it. And you can see this Exulances are very typical in their approach of always invading
Yeah.
and
But they did take up that advanced position. Kekxile Scythe is in that pixel brush, but right now, 3 members of Exulansis moving into the enemy jungler. Kekxile might actually, try to engage on them, trading a bit of blows right there, not really doing much. Both these teams just coming up to a face-off early on in the game before even the levels start ticking. That's good. As Wasil picks up a Q on Karina bot, doesn't really do much, and Micro is just getting that trade in with the Q. Both these junglers starting out the red buffs.
Yep. Just to confirm, I am at around 1 minute 53 seconds in game. So let's sync up, Red Bro.
Yeah,
If
1 minute, how much?
57.
1 minute 57. Okay, wait, let me look
Yeah, and in
up
the
with
top
you.
side though, Red Bro, we might see a gang come out, and that
Oh,
could be first blood, Red Bro. Holy crap!
yeah, I was actually syncing up my timeline, and then
Yeah.
that just happened right there. What minute are you in right now?
2 minutes 14, 15,
2 minutes 14, 15, right?
16,
Okay, let me.
17, 18.
Yeah, let's go. We are in sync.
Yeah, so I'll just cover that last play. It does look like, Graves just instantly went for red to top, and
Yeah.
Scythe had no idea whatsoever, and Scythe just kept taking trades into the Wukong without
But right
realizing
now,
that the
even
Graves
now,
is there.
Scythe and Light Crow are trading blows right here. Scythe gets the
Okay.
kill back on Light Crow. Even after dying to that first blood, he did not give up in level 2 trading. That said, damage coming into play right here. Early on, you do not want an extended fight. You just want to hit and run a set. But if you do get into that fist bump, you're pretty much dead, honestly,
Yeah,
as
and
the Wukong found out.
that was such a question mark play from Crow right here. They got first blood. They're in a great spot. Oh, never mind.
But right now
Fight.
in bot lane, we do see Kekxile being very aggressive. Wasil and Ansari both flashing in. Microwise gets taken down. Here comes Zahir with the support. Here goes the flash from Dead Corporal. He manages to escape despite being stunned right under the turret. But whoa, man, lots of action going on. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I just had to do
Yeah,
that.
that's completely fine because those fights were very interesting.
And Scuttlecrab being stolen out by Exulansis Fahad.
my
He has
lord.
caught out the jungler, right? And flash out from Video Gamer. The clutch EQ saves him from further damage. Carrying a bot in support, but he does not have mana. Wasil, really nice rotate down into the pixel brush. And Kekxile really looking in for that mid-game control.
Man, that's gotta be a tilter for our boy video gamer here. He's trying to get his scuttle, minding his own business, does not care for anybody else, and he just gets invaded on by the by Fahad. And I think Fahad is the one who actually gets the scuttle himself. And
Yeah.
there's a series of misplays that I do believe Exulansis is making on the bot side. Bard not flashing, saving it, being too greedy right here. Crow in the top lane on the Wukong. In what can only be described as overestimating his own damage,
Yeah.
loses off and completely gives away the advantage that Video Gamer garnered for him. And now
But
in
right
the
now,
mid lane
Exulansis
as
Fahad
well.
going aggressive on Karina bot. Let's land a few spells. Karina bot can only do a Q in return, but that empowered Q is going to take out a lot of his HP. He's now stuck with 25% HP and very little mana. Going to have to recall back as the lane is frozen in the mid lane. Kekxile Fahad is going to have this entire weight to himself pushing into the turret, and that's going to be really advantageous for him as he's going to have a little level advantage as we have a support DC out.
Yeah, this gives us some time to talk about this crazy early game. We've seen 3 kills come already. The first one was a very good attempt by, very good cheese, I would say, by Exulansis coming level 2 with Graves red buff. Scythe had no way to do anything. He used his flash in the process as well. And, it looked like, he was going to be in a difficult time. And then instantly teleports back. Wukong takes a trade and simply just dies without even using his flash. So that was
Right.
unfortunate. But in the bot lane, right, like, have to give props to Ansari and Vasil right there. They played that level 2 out beautifully, waited for Zahid to come on the Graves, and the Bard not flashing as soon as he should have really
Yeah.
made it difficult for him, because the last proc did hit from Vasil with his Brom Q, and that was able to confirm the kill that Varys got, right, bro? So that's really good for him,
Yeah.
And in the top lane
definitely.
again, we see these trades come out, and they are not in the favor of Wukong at all.
Yeah, but Wukong does have that level advantage, so he gets that Q back with that. But here goes Video Gamer and the rest of Exulansis. Wasil ambushing the Tri-Bush right there. He gets really taken down really, really low, but Video Gamer is taking a lot of damage from Ansari as well. He's still poking it out despite taking damage from both Dead Corporal and Micro Ice. That was a really good response to the gank, but he has to back off now and really allow Ezreal to have that lane advantage. Dead Corporal is going to have these minions all by himself, and that's going to relieve some of that pressure that Kekxile had built up in the bot lane.
Yeah, so that gank, even though it did not work out for him, and almost Video Game almost died in the process, is really good for Exulansis because now they're able to keep this nice wave on their side and simply freeze it off. So Ansari, with losing so much HP, will not have the priority that this lane would generally have for him.
Right.
And this does allow Ezreal to simply farm up his tier, or he doesn't have one yet, sorry. So he at least farm up without being in a lot of trouble. So
Yeah.
now Kekxile have to push this wave, Red Bro, and it does look like they are doing that
Yeah.
instantly, even if it means getting poked out in the
But right now,
process.
Zahir is right there with the support, trying to figure out if they can get ganked by Video Gamer. But Video Gamer is up in the top lane, so there's no possibility of that. But he's still here to ensure that his bot lane can push this out really quickly and then recall safely. But yeah, that wave is still gonna be frozen right next to Exulance's tower because it did zone out from that tower. It did not crash against the tower as fast as they would have wanted to. And right now we do see Light Crow level 6 against Exili's Scythe. He has that sort of level advantage where you can just insta kill him, and he has Video Gamer in support. Scythe might be in a bit of trouble if he wants to go for these minions and go for that XP.
Yeah, at this point, like Video Gamer is reduced to just farming up to his EX. He was around 2 levels behind, half the CS of his opponent jungler. Now he's just looking to get the scuttle, steal,
Right.
and do some of the counter ganking that he needs to do because otherwise he's going to fall really behind as compared to the Graves, which is somewhat expected, but he cannot fall behind a lot more
Yeah, but we
than he
do see a
currently
tower
is.
dive being channeled out in the top lane.
I
Video Gamer shows himself way too early, way too early. That just goes on to fail
I think they
miserably.
did the right thing there, Red Bro, because imagine if they went inside with a sight at level 6 with this W, no way they're bursting him down from 100 to 0 at that point. So
Yeah,
smart of them to not take that trade. But the good thing is that Video Gamer does steal the Gromp of Graves and then he goes back to his red. So he's catching back up a little bit in farm, though
yeah.
he's still around half a level or more behind the Graves, who is looking to get to his red buff as well. So at
He's
this
also
point
like
in
four
game,
camps behind as well. Like
yeah,
he has like a 16 CS lead over Jarvan. That's like 4 camps right there.
yep, he will be in a bit of trouble. I think he's around half a level behind at this point. But considering how the early game went for him, it is catch up time for a video gamer on that J4 right here. But it,
Yeah,
it does look like Exulances are also like chilling. They kind of like went aggressive, realized that Exile came back and fought just as hard. So
yeah,
now they're just like looking to have their Ezreal farm up, their Oriana farm up, because these are not champs that fight early game, right?
yeah,
At
yeah,
least
yeah.
until they get a couple of items and not that strong. So at this point, Exulances is also just chilling, waiting for their champions to
As
get
we do
farmed
see
up.
an engage coming up in the top lane side from Light Crow. Here goes. The trade blows are here. Scythe has that full grid. The W is dodged by the flash from Light Crow, but the ult goes out into the minions. Light Crow uses the second version of his ultimate, but it's enough damage to kill him. Scythe, he is being burned down. That tower shot takes some damage onto Light Crow, but none of these top laners end up dying, and that was a really, really close slogfest coming out from both these laners.
I have to give props to both of them. Flashed exactly when they were supposed to. Avoided the damage from the set W with the flash and used ult again to go in. And Sight using the flash at the right time so that Crow would not get the last auto to kill him.
Yeah.
So really good play coming out from both the top laners. They are in their island, Red Bro, but they are enjoying their island because they want to keep 1v1ing. And I do
Yeah.
feel like if one of these players gets to a small advantage first, maybe the Tabai, maybe the finished play of the Ruin King, right? Then
Right.
it might just give them the impetus because that 1v1 was supremely close at this point. But
Yep.
without flashes, this could be a different game.
But right now, Dead Corporal and Microwise want to engage onto Wasi and Ansari. But here goes Zahir with the support. They do spot him out in the bush and they disengage really, really quickly. Meanwhile, Video Gamer is taking that Cloud Dragon. He is down to a half HP. Kekxile do have knowledge of the fact that they are doing Dragon and they might want to contest this. Graves is level 6 right now. The Dragon is really low and Braum actually steals out the Dragon, and that is disaster for Exulances as they lose out the Dragon and they lose out the jungler. But wow, what a steal from Wasil. Out
Yeah,
jungling the jungler right there.
at this point, Vasil is the one who takes the dragon, and I feel like that was just not the right time to do it, or simply just not the right moment for them to go. Because now Kexile have got the first dragon, and
But
Crow
right,
is in trouble in the top lane as well.
yeah,
Scythe is now winning these trades quite well on his side.
Yep, and that's the power of Zed. Once he gets like some items and he just wants to go for it, the in part uses the Q, uses the face breaker, does a lot of damage. Does he have the W up? No, it is still on cooldown. Here goes Video Gamer, uses the ult onto Lightcrow. It was on a clone. Lightcrow still surviving with a sliver of HP, uses the ult to knock Scythe up, but Video Gamer might not want to use this extended trade. That the W goes out, misses every single laner, but here comes Zahir with the flash in and the ult and the Q. Gets that double kill up in the top lane. What a savior right there.
Oh boy, Kekxile's teamwork right there, showing up big and how Scythe, man, carrying the load of that said 1v2ing until his team's ready to flash in and ult as well to save him and get a kill in the process. Really, really well played right there. And Kekxile, from their last week loss, have come to play in this quarterfinal game.
Right now, we do see a little bit of an aggression coming out from Kekxile. Fahad deals a lot of damage onto Katarina Bot despite having Micro Ice in support. He did not have that opportunity to actually do anything right there, but he does pay for it with half his HP. And Fahad is going to have a really better time in the lane right now as he looks to crash it and then back for items.
Yeah, and such a smart purchase, right? He goes for the tabby first, knowing that the Wukong's damage is through his Q and his autos. So
Yeah.
that really helps him survive the trades compared to, Crow trying to finish up can get more attack speed, right? So the value for money with that purchase was Pog.
Yeah.
And this just allows him to survive more. And Scythe honestly played that team fight really, really well. He held his ground
Yeah.
long enough. And as a nature of a champion itself, like he knows how to play the champion. You can see it
Yeah,
very
yeah.
well. And now Kekxile are looking in a very good spot, Red Bro. They have a 3,000 goal lead, and the top laning is winning. There's no priority at all whatsoever. And for Exile, they just have to play safe right now. Sorry, for Exulansis Esports.
But right now, Scythe and Crow going to blows again. Crow fancies this trade, gets in a few auto attacks as Exili Scythe was backing off. But yeah, like for Kekxile, I think their main focus should be at the bot lane because they do have like some semblance of an advantage in terms of that 14 CS lead and that 2-kill lead that Varus has built up for himself. Ansari is looking good with his items against Dead Corporal's items. So yeah, that might be something that they want to, exploit more,
100%. There's a 1,000 goal lead in the AD carries right now. Mid lane, however, it is Katrina Bot who's been able to outfarm a little bit, but the goal lead is pretty much even. But the biggest difference right now is in the top and the jungle. 1,000 goal lead each. So the early game has been crazy, and what a beautiful Bard ultimate on the tower, Redwood, to prevent the Herald from hitting it so
Completely.
that they do not get any gold.
Yeah,
What
completely
a bogus play.
nullifies.
I have not
Completely
seen
nullifies
that
the
being
Herald.
in competitive South Asian scene for sure. Micro Ice was very
On point
smart
with
in
that,
that play.
yeah.
I have to give him credit right there. I did
Yep, he
not
was
know you could
definitely on
do
point on
that, and that's actually so good. And he timed it so well as well. Like really, really
Yeah, he
helps
timed it
them.
with the charge of the Rift Herald and completely nullified the amount of effort that, Kekxile had to go through to take that Herald because it does take a lot of time. So the jungler's not really doing anything. But right now, Zahir might have caught out Micro Eyes, but that stun stops him in his tracks. That could have been really, really bad for Micro Eyes if he didn't get out. But Micro Eyes might be in trouble. He still has that magical journey, or does he have? He still has that magical journey, uses it to go to mid. But yeah, like a lot of time gets invested when you're trying to take a Rift Trail, and for it to be nullified like that by just one ultimate, it must feel disheartening for Zahir right there, as they do look to contest the enemy blue buff. Micro Ice, he's been really on point with those stuns right there, and Jarvan right now is in support. Video Gamer bringing that little wolf in for support, but yeah, he still gets to take his blue despite that continued aggression and exile. Look to team fight as Wasil goes ham with that ultimate. Teleports coming down from Light Crow. They know to disengage from that because they do not want to fight that team fight with a Wukong.
Yeah, Dragon's up, and this is where Exulansis, I've always seen them get team fights, win team fights that they honestly shouldn't be winning. But at this point, they're against Kekxile, who themselves are looking so good. And that RQ from Karma Red, bro,
Oh my
completely
goodness.
drains out the HP of the Wukong, and that dissuades any Dragon attempt that Exulansis were looking to contest.
Yeah.
But EXE Crow's like, you know what, guys? I'm still here. I'm gonna try and just fight this. I have my pots running. I should be able to heal back up to 60-70% HP. That should be good enough for me to get a start. All ultimates are up. All flashes barring the J4 are up. Except the junglers, like everyone has flashes. So, Red Bro, I think we are in for a very crazy team fight.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if I favor them right now. But Exulansis Ansari might have been caught out. He does a lot of damage taken out to him. Light Crow dives the turret, but is taking a lot of damage. He might just get taken out. The turret actually slays him. But that puts Exile into a position to recontest. Dead Corporal is tagged with that Bard Q. Exile side picks up the kill. Video Gamer is in a lot of trouble as he sandwiched in the alcove. The Exile side ultimate goes down. Micro Ice is going to get taken out by Exile Fahad as Karina Bot can just watch in horror. Exile Wasil flashes in with the Q, just manages to miss that ultimate as Orianna did flash, but they're not done. They still want to go for this. Tags the Q, but no follow-up to do that, and they are just going to take this dragon. 4 people still alive. That was a really, really good engage. 1 for 4 and a dragon.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, they hard committed on Ansari, but lost Wukong in the process. Oriana was not there, and Fahad was there for his team. So Fahad's like, you know what, guys, if you're fighting, I'm following, and that's going to be an ultimate but flash away. But that 4 for 1 really, really hurts.
But right now, Fahad is forced to flash away as Orianna did use the ultimate. Karina Bot wants to zone him out from that cannon. Really, really good play right there mechanically. He wanted to get that Q out from the Raptor side, but couldn't because the cannon died. But yeah, before the start of that fight, I was going to say that I do not favor Exulansis in that fight, despite the fact that they do have that sort of team fight ultimates going on. I don't favor them in the sense that the item disparity between these two teams is just too high right now. And the level disparity as well. You see the amount of damage that Karma is dealing out to Orianna, despite Orianna having that sort of lead. But right now, we do see Exile wanting to set up in the bot lane for a gank, get spotted out by the ward, and that is nullified instantly. But yeah, like I wasn't really favoring Exile in that fight, and they should have just kited back or just pushed up top lane because that was just completely free. You had Scythe down in the dragon. You know that you're not going to win these team fights. You should just look to push out some other lane where there are no laners, right? But yeah, they do pay for it with their lives and a dragon.
And these one item power spikes for Kekxile are strong. Luden's finished, Ghostblade finished, Blade of the Ruin King finished. They are extremely strong at this point, and yet again, Exulansis are looking for the fight, Red Bro.
Yeah, they are going in ham for this. Lycro is in support. Wasil and Ansari are in really deep trouble right now, but they really don't get enough damage, honestly. And here comes Sight with that magical art journey. Uses it against him. Micro Ice uses the ultimate, but that ultimate dodges him away from that. Lycro wants to take out Ansari, gets stunned by the Bard Q. He might just take out Wasil. No, the Zhonya's, the stopwatch comes out, and that one auto attack from Ansari seals the deal as Fahad comes in and secures the kill. But here goes Zahir with Dead Corporal. He does have a lot of damage, might be able to take this out, but no, chooses to disengage. But oh my goodness, what action going on.
What a beautiful, beautiful ultimate, Red Bro.
Yeah, that was a really nice ultimate from Karina Bot, going in right there with the ultimate and the W, the flash from that bush. They did not expect that to happen.
Man, we are seeing fights after fights come out here. Started off in the bot lane, Lances tried to go yet again, but the moment the side teleport came, they ran backwards as fast as they tried to run forward right there. They lost so many in the process. Side yet again outplaying the Bard. The Bard tried to use his ultimate. Side's like, you know what, you're not doing that in front of me. Ults him to prevent both of them from getting Zhonya'd right there.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Katarina Bot is the saving grace for them, is able to get a couple of kills
right
for
now,
himself.
Exile Scythe might be actually going in, gets slowed by the W. Oh my god, that is a huge amount of slow right there. And just highlights that weakness of Set as a champion, of how he can just get kited if he gets that, movement speed debuff from any of the spells, as Micro Eyes just being... He's just being barred right now. He's just auto-attacking, doing literally nothing, taunting the Braum into doing a random engage so that they can try to sound an advantage for them. Pishi, what second are you on right now? What time are you on?
1850.
Oh no, I'm a bit behind.
Well, it's looking really bad right now for Exulansis, because now they lost yet another member. Crow goes down, flashes, but to no effect whatsoever, Red Bro. And now they got the Herald, the second one off the game. Meanwhile, Scythe is happily pushing the inner bot lane turret, and this game is slowly snowballing out of control for Exulansis. I do not know if they'll be able to catch back up right here.
Right
and look
now,
at this beautiful Varus ultimate.
Yeah, he does get caught out. Like, can we sync up right now? 1925, 26?
28, 29.
Yeah. I'm just a second behind.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Cool. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah.
But the game state has completely, massively gone even more in favor
On
of Kekxile, because that's a
yeah.
6,000 goal lead, Red Bro, and all the inner outer towers are gone. And now the third dragon will be up in just under 40 seconds, and that's going to be Kekxile saying, you know what, guys, we'll take that one. We'll take everything, including the
Yeah.
kitchen sink right here, because we are looking to get into the semifinals, and Exulansis will have their work cut out for them in this game at least.
Definitely, definitely. Like I think that anchoring onto Scythe and Zahir, I feel like these two players have done excellent in terms of their individual gameplay and their individual rotations. Fahad was there from mid lane to the crucial bot lane fights, but yeah, like I really have to give it to Scythe. He's been holding his own really well on that set, and I really love how he plays the champion in terms of dodging skill shots with his ultimate and using his entire kit to his advantage against a team that can actually kite him pretty well. So kudos for him to using set in against a composition like that.
Yeah, and honestly, like Crow and Video Gamer have had a really rough game,
Yeah.
because they both tried to make plays happen but have not succeeded purely because of Kexile's teamwork, allowing them to
Right,
have a
but
numbers
right now,
advantage.
Exile might want to engage, but that magical journey from Bard saves him yet again. Micro Ice, I have to commend Micro Ice on how he's played. He has been that global taunt for his team, and yeah, Exile have been really triggered by that because they do have that sort of over aggression when it comes to playing against Micro Ice.
Yeah, and at this point, the only saving grace for Exulances are their mid lane and AD carries. You know, like Katarina Bot and Dead Corporal have gotten to their items. They are not significantly behind their opponent carries, trying to, in fact, Katarina Bot with the double kill is actually ahead of the Karma. And the later this game goes, right? Ezreal with Death's Dance and Oriana with shields will out damage the Karma by miles.
Yeah,
So it's not like late game they are completely going to lose out against Exile Gaming right here, but their work definitely is a lot more difficult, because with a 6,000 goal lead and 3 dragons apiece, the next Ocean Drake will be the Soul Drake for Kexile. And if they get that, then these team fights just get massively in favor of them if it wasn't, dominant already.
yeah.
And with Wukong at just being one item, and Scythe on the set being at 2 items, the disparity in the top lane and the jungle is showing massively, and they have to stop the bleeding. If Exulances want a
Yeah.
shot in this game, they have to make sure the goalie does not snowball out of control even further, and try to just farm up and not do something. But look at this, right, bro?
But right now, side going in, the Blade of the Ruin King is triggered, and the Force of and the I forgot the item name. He did use that
Righteous Glory.
Righteous Glory. Yeah, I keep thinking about Shurilia's Reverie because that
Yep,
was what it used to be called. But
yep.
then again, Shurilia's is another item right now. But yeah, like Scythe is really scary honestly against Light Crow. Like whenever he saw that Blade of the Ruin King proc and that Righteous Glory proc from him, provide and the Q movement speed bonus when you're approaching a champion, it does give him an insane amount of movement speed to negate that sort of lack of a dash that Set actually has. So that's a really good thing. But yeah, Light Crow really shouldn't fight him right now. He is a raid boss at this point.
100%. The 3 level disparity between Zahir and Video Gamer on the Graves versus the J4 matchup definitely helping Graves out, because he's going to be one of those frontline champs with his Death's Dance and GA, right? The guy is just going
Yeah.
to buy so much time for his team, for Ansari and Fahad at the back to keep poking. And he's in a great spot, honestly, with that utility pick right here. There's no way he's going to give up that bounty that he has. And in the top lane as well,
But right now, Zahir, oh my goodness, that's a lot of damage coming out. But here goes Karina Bot. He responds with some damage of his own. Zahir has that GA, but it shouldn't be really pop because he might need it for that mid-game team fight that is impending for that 4th dragon for the soul. And he intelligently walks away from that fight, noticing the fact that Micro Ice was lurking in the shadows, gets that last minion wave, and decides to back off. Meanwhile, Micro Ice wants to get that vision control down in his own jungle. And you do see, like, a few of the wards down on the fringes of Exulansis' jungler by Kekxile that really shows how dominant they have been, because they've been able to push into the enemy jungler really comfortably, given the fact that Exulances really do not want to pick a fight with any members of Kekxile right now, given the level disparity right now. And as Exili's side, round 2, here he goes. Manages to.
Wukong is not going to fight him, right, bro. There's no way in the world he's going to. And yeah, the vision control has been great. Every time someone backs, they have a ward there. They know when this person is backing. They know what to do when the next things happen. But I have to also commend Katarina Bot and to some extent that Corporal. Katarina Bot's farming nearly 9.5 10 CS a minute right here. He knows his job is, and Oriana has to farm a get his items. And this is the point where these people they're just generally good at farming. That
Yeah.
Corporal himself is very very good at farming, so they're naturally around 9 or 10 CS a minute compared to their counterparts. And this CS lead honestly is allowing the gold lead to sort of succumb back in their favor. It was
Yeah.
6,000 gold a minute or two ago. Now it's around like 5,000 ish, and that slowly and steadily they are able to stop this bleeding. The next dragon, however, Red Bro is going to be pivotal right here, because if
Yep.
they lose the Ocean Drake, then this CS lead is not going to mean anything at all. And
Yeah.
can Exulances make the comeback that they're looking for is going to be the question we all have to ask.
Yeah. But
Because with Crow being so behind in this game with that 1.5 items compared to two and a
right.
half items that Scythe is on, like it really just matters on execution. The Bard ult, the J4 ult, the Wukong ult, the Oriana ult, man, these things need to land on the right people at the right time to do the damage that this team composition is ready to do. And with 10 seconds to go, Red Bro, I'm gonna let you have the stage to cast this next fight out.
I think that, Exile need to force a fight right away because Exulances are catching up. As you said, that the CS difference is going to play a pivotal role in closing that gold gap. That was, shifted out because of the dragon. But here goes Microwise with that ult, gets the dragon, and Zahir in the dragon pit. And here comes Video Gamer, goes in with that EQ into Zahir. Might not be the optimal solution as Light Crow pushes in to two members of Exile, gets that ultimate down, gets blasted to smithereens by Exili Fahad. As Zahir has that sort of stopwatch right there, and the GA is popped out. But here goes Exulances. The fight might be favored in favor of them. Exulances gets caught between four members of Exile, and he might just go down. He does. Exulances get that fight out. What a play from them. Getting that Dragon Soul, dragging it from under the feet of Exile as Exile Zahir goes in for that pivotal steal. He might deal enough damage to kill Video Gamer. No, he doesn't. Or does he? No. Dread Corporal takes him out, and that fourth Dragon Soul is saved by Exulances.
The Madman did again. It started off with Crow just keeping the entire damage heavy source of Kekxile back so that they could do the frontline damage. Dead Corporal, like a boss, flashes in to kill Ansari right there, Red Bro. And a beautiful Oriana ultimate to catch more than 3 people. Exulances are insane during Dragon team fights, and they showed in this particular matchup. But with Baron also coming
But
up,
right now, Exile want
it
to
could be
contest
close.
for this. Scythe is speeding up. Microbot might be caught out, but here comes Exulances with that re-engage. Light Crow going on to Ansari. He's dealing a lot of damage. He gets taken out. Karinabot might be in a bit of trouble right here, but here goes Light Crow. Exile Fahad switches targets. Here comes 3 members of Exile E. Exulances, 4 members. Fahad and Wasil forced to back away. It might not result in Baron, but Exulances are clawing themselves back into the game with surety.
Man, oh man, Exulances just did a perfect team fight over a dragon, found the teleport from site, and were able to get 1 for 2. Yes, they lose Katarina out of the process, but they get Ansari yet again, and they also get site. And I have to commend the coordination of this team. Anytime we've seen this months on month during Dragons, they always just know what every champion has to do. Wukong was frontlining, just he knew he had to die. He just had to keep them busy and do damage as much as possible. Meanwhile, in the backline, Oriana was just pumping out damage. Side died, Brom died. Ezreal flashing like a Chad that he is, got Ansari in the process. And this is
Yeah.
where the Oriana Ezreal, the damage output and the tankiness of that Ezreal with the Iceborne Gauntlet fielding, trying to build up his death stance, will end up being insanely important. And
Yeah.
Exulance is just showing why they're the better team fighting composition. Not
Yeah,
team
and
fighting
they
composition, the team fighting team. Their coordination was super on point right there. And actually just did not know how to respond to that. They just completely crumbled in that team fight.
Yeah, and the scoreboard doesn't really do justice to Light Crow and the contribution that he's had in these team fights because he's been the one who's been completely shutting down Ansari right there. The AD carry really doing nothing against him because Lycro, if he goes in with that Wukong ultimate and that Q just lands onto Varus's head, that's going to mean a lot of the armor penetration that he's going to just use to squish Varus under his bow staff. But yeah, that contribution shouldn't be undermined by Lycro. He has been going ham with his Wukong, and that has been a pivotal moment for all these team fights where you have that sort of insane damage coming out from Ansari being taken away from the rest of the team while Exulansis are focusing on using Dead Corporal's mobility. But here goes Zahir, and Video Gamer might be a slogfest right here. Micro Ice is in support. Zahir might be a bit of a trouble right now, but Video Gamer and Micro Ice are retreating as members of Exulansis are in support right there. The Orianna ult goes into Zahir. The Jarvan ult also goes into Zahir. Here are four members of XLE right now as Wasil and Fahad are caught out by the Bard ultimate. Video Gamer's in support. He uses EQ, double EQ right there, carrying the bot, dealing a lot of damage. Dead Corporal gets caught out by Sight, but might not be enough damage to kill him. Uses the ult on him, but Sight still going, still not be able to kill Dead Corporal. Video Gamer uses the stopwatch to save himself as Wasil and Ansari still running away from Exulansis. What a team fight. Exulansis, they know how to pick off one person and then just, re-engage onto four members of Kekxile. That is really good play coming out from them and might just net them a Baron.
They waited till they got their items and then played like a well-oiled machine. Everybody knew what to do. The Bard ult came out, the EQ followed up, the Orianna damage at this point, his 10 CS a minute, now maybe at 9 or whatever, is just so much at this point that they cannot deal with it. And Zahir gets caught out and they're trying to trade with the Bard who has a Giant's Belt and a Chain Vesh at this point. He's not going to die to your auto attacks anymore, buddy. And that catch right there allows them to get the Baron, and suddenly actually Lancers have made a brilliant comeback in this game when they were 6,000 gold behind. Now they are 3,000 gold ahead,
yeah.
and they are looking like they can just run away with this game. And Kekxile are now on the back foot wondering, hey guys, what do we do right now? We just can't seem to win any more team fights anymore. This Orianna is big, double neatly slashed rods. Ezreal finished Death's Dance. Wukong has caught up, 2.5 items. He's equal with Set right now in terms of gold as well. He's actually just 300 gold behind, which is jack shit at this point. So, and J4 also, that level disparity, 3 levels behind is just 1 level behind. He is the meat shield frontline, Gargle Stone Plate, has the 9 for his AD carry. Dead Corporal and Catbot are the two carries of this composition, with Micro Ice providing the beautiful Bard ults that start it all.
Yeah, and I feel like, when I said that Kekxile needed to start a fight right away, even before the 4th dragon spawn. This was what I was fearing, because Dead Corporal and Karina Bot, they have just flown off the shelves right now with that huge CS count for both of them, honestly, and it allowed them to get their items. It allowed them to get that crucial damage that they need for team fights, because that Lycro and Video Gamer can just slog it out in between all members of Kekxile while they do the damage. Karina Bot and, Dead Corporal, they can just be free to do whatever they like because they have these sloggers going into these team fights and distracting the divers from that composition. Even Exulansis Scythe wanted to go for Dead Corporal, but that mobility from Ezreal combined with that Iceborne Gauntlet really debilitated him, as Zahir might be caught out again. He uses his E, but that amazing stun from Micro Ice might allow them to follow up. No, they decide to disengage, that this might not be a fight that they're looking for, but the 4th dragon is up. Are Kekxile going to contest for the soul with this baroned up Exulansis team? No. Red team take down the dragon. That's 2 Ocean Drakes for them, and that is going to give them good healing advantages that they've lost. But oh my goodness, that's a lot of damage onto Dead Corporal. He does get healed up pretty quickly by the Bard, and Kekxile looking Exulansis looking really good against Kekxile right now. Ansari forced to defend this tower all by himself. Does get taken out, but oh my god, Zahir, what are you doing? Why are you engaging the Bard so much? But Micro Ice might finally be in trouble. Uses that magical journey, uses the ult on him. But here goes members of Exulansis right now in mid lane. They take down the inhibitor, but it might be another fight. Goes on to Lycro. 2 members of XLE knocked up right there. The double kill goes on from Dead Corporal. They are just steamrolling XLE right now. And here comes Karina Bot being ulted by Exulansis Scythe. He does take a lot of damage. Exulansis Zahir still gets taken down. Video Gamer is still not down. Dead Corporal is being chased by Exulansis Scythe, but he's taking a lot of damage. Exulansis Scythe forced to use the stopwatch, but still gets taken out by Lycro. That was a lot of turret shot damage that they took down, but still they managed to get that ace, and they're gonna close down this game if the minions push in.
Man, even with like Micro Ice dying right there, the Oriana damage and Ezreal with the beautiful, beautiful damage you does not die. Crow again using the ultimates at the right people at the right time, and video gamer tanking for ages is allowing Exulansis to completely come back from this game. Their composition is happy, farmed up. They will take game one of this quarterfinals,
What
and
a
what a
game.
beautiful game we saw right now.
What a game. Oh my goodness. Like that was just so topsy turvy. You had Kekxile with that huge 6k gold advantage in the early to mid game, but that just transitioned into nothing as Exulances just had that clutch team fight in that fourth dragon pit, and it's just been honestly so bad for Exile from that point on. Because if you do not start a fight against a farmed up Oriana and Ezreal, given the team comp that Exulances had, you really shouldn't expect to win out these fights given the fact that you allowed their two carries to farm that much. So yeah, I guess that is exactly what happened. They lost that grip on the game because of that engage. And coming up to Zahir, I think a valid criticism of him would be that he really did not need to engage on those two team fights where he got caught. That actually allowed Exulances to get themselves even more of an advantage throughout that mid to late game
Yes,
transition
yeah.
period.
And look at the damage style. Ezreal was the highest damage, followed by Oriana. Both of them carried the weight of the damage of the entire team. And this is it for game one, guys. Game two will be starting very, very shortly. Do not forget, this is the best of three series. We will be back with game two in just a few minutes. Till then, just take a break, enjoy some ads, and we'll be back very shortly.
Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear Gaming Monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. Numerous forces aimed at the Earth. And injustice. Let the glorious battle begin. Geared up for victory. LG UltraGear gaming monitor. numerous forces aimed at the Earth. Ending justice.
User left your channel.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TEC South Asia Championship League powered by LG UltraGear. This is game 2 of the semi-final between Exulansis Esports and Kekxile. Game 1 went to Exulansis after a ruffle stomping by them throughout the mid-game. They did manage to claw themselves back into the late game and seal the win. This is game 2, so we are hoping for more of the same action that we saw in game 1 as the picks and bans are now underway. Right now, I have with me Itmam, who is known as I Killed Van Gogh in the casting table. Itmam, so what was your opinion on the first game?
The first
You
game
didn't
was
watch.
quite interesting, and like to be honest, like I was really surprised to see their builds, like how they built after getting such a big lead. Like Kekxile got such a big lead in the early game, and they built so I don't know, randomly, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because set with Righteous Glory and everything, it was quite interesting to see. But unfortunately, those team fights, I feel like Katarina bot played superb.
Yeah.
So overall, I guess those team fights caused them, along with the weird item builds.
Yeah. I guess like Katarina Bot was that sort of catalyst for Exulansis to come back into the game, given the fact that he was absent from a lot of the fights that happened. A lot of the fights actually, for Kekxile Esports actually went in favor of them in the bot lane and in the top lane. So mid lane was relatively untouched. Fahad did manage to keep Katarina Bot in check from the early to
Yeah,
mid game. But the problem was that whenever you have these sorts of huge CS leads coming out in favor of your mid lane carries and your bottom lane carries, you really cannot afford to give away those fights, and that is exactly what they did in the fourth dragon. They just came in and just blitzkrieged Kekxile and just took that lead right from under their toes. And yeah, we're gonna see. I really hope we do see more of that topsy turvy action that we saw in the first game. So going over the bans for XLE, I do see that they have banned out Oriana. They really don't want to play against that
yeah,
anymore.
they're finally respecting the fact that Katarina bot is the primary carry of Exulances. So that's good to see. But like to be honest, like banning out Katarina bot isn't
The solution,
entirely
yeah.
wise, yeah, because he has such a wide pool, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's good to see. Oh, we see Ansari with his main. Like he
Okay, so
mains Kaisa,
Kaisa.
and it's a good counter to Ezreal as well. So that's
Yeah.
really smart.
Yeah, and Zahir this time he wants to focus on the Jarvan instead of going for the Graves, which they banned out. So yeah, Video Gamer gets that pick taken out from him, which was one of the pivotal champions in the game because he did have that sort of innate tankiness and that CC and the ulti lockdown with that Cataclysm. But yeah, Aphilio's being banned out by Exile. That's a really wise ban considering how bonkers this champion can actually get provided you have the right combination of weapons. As we do see a disconnect, I'm guessing that is a lock-in issue.
Yeah, most likely. And as you said, yeah, Achilles is broken, but I feel like the nerfs probably hit him a little harder this patch. Like overall, the last two patches, I think he got nerfed, right? So I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
he's a lot more manageable right now. Like if
Uh-huh.
you can play around it, and if you have like
Mm-hmm.
good picks bot lane, suppose Varus
Yeah,
and Karma, like a poke bot lane to just nullify his early game.
yeah. But there's always that looming threat that you might get, Chakram to smithereens when he actually, reaches that sort of tipping point
Exactly, yeah.
that he does in the late game, right? So that is something that they need to watch out for. It is really wise to ban him out because these games do drag on to like that tipping point where both teams have considerable items and they have that sort of level advantage over each other, and they are in that sort of position where one potato team fight will cost you the game, right? And Aphelios is really a wild card, honestly, and you really don't want that wild card to
Exactly.
present in these team fights.
Uh, Even though the nerfs hit him hard, it's still, as you said, if the game drags on, he's still the threat he is, as always, in the late game, right? So it's quite tough to handle him late game.
Definitely. And Lulu and Lissandra being banned out from Exulansis side, like, yeah, they really do not want to play against a champion that can, protect their AD carries, because Exulansis are a very dive-heavy team composition. They really do like to go in and just slog it out. I know Light Crow and Video Gamer, both of them play champions that like to go into team fights and slogging it out. So it's a good way to like ban out a champion that can prove detrimental to that strategy. And yeah, the Trundle ban makes sense given the fact that top laners are really chunky right now, so Trundle can take advantage of that fact and just steal free stats off of his enemies.
Yeah, I feel like the Trundle ban is kind of going backwards because like I think Kekxile will probably go for play around the Kai'Sa pick. Like they're probably gonna go for like good tanks and like beefy front lines to just protect the Kai'Sa, because Ansari on Kai'Sa is a threat to be reckoned with. So
yep,
we have to
definitely
further see.
Okay, so a Kindred comes out for Video Gamer, a far cry and a stark contrast to the champion that he was playing in the last game. He was playing more of a tank initiator. Right now, he's gonna play the role of a carry jungler. But, Kindred requires those souls and those stacks in order to be really, really effective. But if you do not deny Kindred her stacks, or their stacks, if I should say, if you don't deny those stacks, you're gonna have a world of hurt coming your way, as that range and damage buff that they get is insane.
Yeah, so far I feel like the draft is on Exulansis' side, because as you said, you have to like deny Kindred the
Stacks, yeah.
stacks, right? So like even then, like Kindred has a lot of mobility, so does Ezreal, right? So both their carries so far have enough mobility to kite around Mordekaiser and J4, right? So
Right.
like so far I feel like Exulansis has the edge in the draft.
And yeah, like Kindred's ultimate is really a good counter to Mordekaiser, because when you're taken down to low HP in Mordekaiser's ultimate, if Mordekaiser does ult the Kindred, you can just stay in your ultimate and wait it out, right? And then wait for your team to dive in when you've finished. But it also depends on if your team is actually alive when the Mordekaiser ulti runs out. So yeah, Kai'Sa and Jarvan, both these champions are really good. Kai'Sa is Ansari's main, as you said, and he is a champion that snowballs really, really hard. But Ezreal has been really, really strong as well in the recent meta, even though he lost that Kleptomancy rune that he so favored in Season 9 at the start of Season 10. He has quickly picked up steam because of the fact that a lot of AD carries that he was weak against were nerfed, and yeah, that's been the case so far. As we do see the final ban, which is a Corki.
That is a good ban, honestly, because I think they do lack a little damage on Kekxile's side. And proper initiation as well, right? Because even if Jarvan cataclysms the carries, right, supposedly, Kindred and Ezreal can easily get out of that. Yeah, Lux hover. It's quite interesting.
Janna, Nautilus, Janna. Is it gonna be Janna? We did see a Yumi hover. No, it's a Janna.
Oh.
There we go. The Janna pick locked in. Wait, are you seeing something else?
My client glitched out a little. Anyway.
Okay, so
Janna...
yeah, Janna right there. So basically, if we're looking at the entire team composition, I don't know. From Kekxile's side, I do not see like a uniform team composition that they want to go for. They have disengage, they have engage, they have consistent slogging potential in the form of Mordekaiser, they have snowball potential in Kai'Sa. but I don't know what's tying them together. I think Wasil's pick in the next one should be able to give us a more semblance of an idea of what they want to go for, but right now it is pretty much all over the place. But looking at Exulansis' team composition, I feel like while it is still very like diverse, they still have that sort of tanky, damagey role right there, for lack of a better word. Yeah. So Kindred and Ezreal, two carries who can deal really good damage. You pick up the Rise in the mid lane to offer that sort of tanky AP damage coming out from mid lane, because you know that your jungler is really squishy and you need like a bruiserist champion in the mid lane to support that. Cho'Gath, a really good pickup. He is super tanky, does a lot of damage, and is a really good champion to have when you're contesting those objectives. But yeah, there's an Azir pickup coming out from Exile. Wow, that team composition is really, really strange.
I mean, I feel like that actually helps them round it out. Like that looks a little better. I mean, if I say so, because like I was expecting a Nautilus here instead of a
Yeah.
Janna.
Yeah,
That
definitely.
then it would have looked perfect, right? But
Yeah.
now I don't know. Like the Janna looks out of place. The Azir is fine to me. Like that's
Yeah.
actually good because you
Mm-hmm.
do need like you have two hyper carries in your team and they have like
Yeah.
two hyper carries in theirs. So
Right. So that balances out. But the Janna, I don't know why the Janna was actually picked up. Exulances really don't have like that sort of a diver or initiator that goes in. Yes, you have that Braum, but honestly, he's just a CC bot and a protector and a support. He really doesn't do a lot of damage innately to an AD carry, so you really don't have a lot of things to protect. So I'm not really sure as to why they picked up the Janna, possibly because they want to kite out the Cho'Gath and the Rise. That might be one of the reasons, because Janna can actually, take care of
I
Cho'Gath and
mean,
Rise because of their lack of mobility, but still, it's a far stretch, right?
yeah, but like then again, you can make the Janna work because like their only form of initiation, as you said, is Cho'Gath, and most likely, I guess, Braum,
From
right, with
yeah.
Flash Ult or whatever, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
can disengage right away with the Janna ult,
Yeah,
right? But I still feel like Exulansis has the upper hand here. Like their team comp looks a lot more rounded up. I'm just a little worried about the top lane because Cho'Gath, I think, suffers a little bit against
against Mord, yeah.
Mordekaiser. But I guess even though they had the counter pick, I think they had a certain team comp in mind. So that's still a
But
good thing to
Exulances is
see.
also Exulances is also really, really item dependent. Like that team right there
Yeah.
is not really innately
Or
powerful. They just need a lot of scaling. You need Ezreal to get those items, you need Kindred to get those stacks, and you need Cho'Gath to become tanky through his ultimate stacks, right? And Rise needs to farm up that Archangels in order to be more effective.
yeah,
So
we have
yeah, it's very
two tier of the goddess champions.
exactly
So
a very, very scaling composition. Whereas Kekxile can just go straight off the bat right away, and they can just start slogging it out, except for Kaisa, of course, because Kaisa
yeah,
does need items in order to be effective. And Azir as well, but Azir has those sorts of utility spells, and that kit is really well balanced, so that he can deal damage from afar and has that mobility going for him. And the fact that you have a Jarvan who's really, really strong in these mid game team fights against a Kindred, especially pre-level 6, is going to play out as an advantage for Kexile. I'm sorry,
definitely.
I keep mixing up these names because they're so similar sounding, right?
Yeah.
Both start with X, so yeah, that just goes in against my commentary. But still, let's see what happens.
I feel like this game will be very heavily dependent on the mid jungle duo. Like
Yeah,
it is definitely going to be a mid jungle gap, right? Because early
right.
to mid game, I feel like the J4 and Azir should make plays and like look for the early crabs and like pressure bot lane and get the dragons as soon as they can, right? Because this Exulance's team looks really scary late, right?
Yeah.
Considering Kindred gets at least 6 stacks, right, out of something like the jungle camps or something, right? It's going to be really tough to handle them.
Definitely, definitely. And I really wouldn't want to be going up against this Exulance's team in the late game, provided my carries are not really well rounded and into that mid late game transition. But I feel like Exile have that sort of, game sense down where they will be able to contest. But bear in mind, in the last game, Karina Bot and Dread Corporal did out CS their counterparts by quite a
Exactly.
margin. So if that continues on in game two, this game, I'm afraid that the situation's not going to be so different from game one. They're still going to have that sort of comeback after they claw themselves back from that early mid game weakness that they have innately as champions.
Precisely. And I do feel like that Kekxile has to consider the fact that the first game was purely down to them not being able to close the game out, right? So they
Yeah.
have to figure out how to do that, like if they get a sustainable lead this game around, right?
Yep.
And hopefully I am expecting Ansari to like perform superb. Like he never fails to perform on Kaisa,
Yeah.
like as far as I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And Kaisa can actually be like impossible to handle for Exulansis' team. Like if she gets a lead, because you don't necessarily have enough tools to pin her down, right?
Yeah.
Supposedly she gets her 2 items and a QSS. You don't have enough to pin her down because you have the Janna E as well,
Yeah.
right? And you have the peel from the J4 Cataclysm, the Zir ult, even the Mordekaiser ult. Like if the Mordekaiser ult's the Cho'Gath out from a team fight, it's going to be really hard to pin the Kaisa down. So let's see. Like
Definitely.
I'm really hopeful for Ansari to actually show up this game.
All right, so we are in the loading screen right now, and yeah, hoping for a cracker of a game right now because, the last game was really, really topsy turvy. It was a roller coaster of a ride.
Yeah.
Exulansis did have that disadvantage against Exile when they focused down the top and bot lane, but they did manage to claw themselves back out. So let's see if they get an advantage right off the bat, or is it going to mimic the first game as we do go into Summoner's Rift? So, Itmam, I need your predictions. Who do you think is going to win this one?
Uh, I can't really say, but I feel like Excellences has the upper hand considering, how they stay strong with their mental. Like, despite losing team fights early on and like giving early leads to any team for that matter, they still stay strong mentally to like perform later on, right? Like
Yeah,
even if
yeah,
they're dragons down, like even like considering the first game, there were 3 dragons down, right? Like it was Ocean Soul.
yeah.
Even then they like brought out team fights, and like Katarina Bot is the type of player that can make plays to like turn the game around. So I think it's a slight edge to Excellences.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with Exulances as well, given the fact that they did scale up pretty hard in game one, and they have shown that even when they're on the back foot, they do not give up. They want to
Yeah.
consolidate themselves. They reconciled all their positions, and they got themselves that advantage through that fourth dragon fight, even when they're like 6k gold down. So I'm gonna give it to Exulances as well, but just by a narrow margin, honestly, because it could still go either way.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm really excited to see Ansari on Kaisa again because it's always a pleasure. So, but then again, like who am I kidding, right? Like Katarina Bot on Rise is also a threat, like a big threat. Like he has been proving that like multiple times in multiple tournaments, right? So
Yep. Carrying a bot on anything is basically a threat on at this point because of how,
yeah,
strong he is as a player mechanically and in terms of champion diversity as well. As we do
I'm
see, like, there's a DC problem and we are in pause.
What are your thoughts on the top lane runes, like Cho'Gath runes? Like he went the glacial augment build
Yeah.
path, so like, I'm wondering how they're gonna utilize that.
Yeah, I guess it is to sort of stop Mordekaiser in his tracks whenever a gang comes out from Video Gamer. It might be something that they're aiming for right there because, otherwise, how would you explain that, right? You have
Because
that Q
I feel
which
like
does
if
slow
if
him.
he does go AP, right, like if he goes the slow build, the
Yeah,
glacial
yeah.
augment build, it's going to be really hard to match Mordekaiser in the side lanes. Like
Yeah.
considering they're going even, right? But if he can snowball the lane, if Cho'Gath can snowball the lane, then I guess it could, you know, be a lot more useful. Like you can get picks off of the items. I forgot the names, but the slow items.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But basically, honestly, that is not really such a very snowbally build. It's basically something that you can have as an advantage and an item advantage over your laner, which is Mordekaiser at this point. Um, but still, as a Cho'Gath with Glacial Augment, your job is to basically be the CC bot for the team, right? And
Precisely. That's like my thought process as a top laner myself. Like I would think like, if I'm playing Mordekaiser, my opponent playing Cho'Gath, he'd probably take, Grasp, right? And go the
uh
full
huh,
tank route
yeah,
for the
yeah,
team. Because you do have enough carries in the team, right? Like
yeah.
like your bot lane has Ezreal, your jungler's a carry as well, so and your mid lane, right? So
But
if
look
you
at Exulansis right here. 5 stack right now going into the jungle. Exili's side does spot them out, entering that tri-bush. They're just, you know, it seems so weird like having these champions stacked up against each other. They form such a huge crowd right there. And Kekxile, they realize that they might just be looking at a potential invade right here, but they're not really responding too much. They're just spreading themselves out in fear of a flank that might come out from Exulansis. But yeah, pretty standard starts going out as that spot did throw a wrench in the plans of Exulansis in terms of that invade, and standard bot lane starts coming out from both junglers.
yeah, I feel like when they spotted out the top lane invade, like I think Janna could have gotten a deep ward in and like figure out where they're gonna start. Could have been useful, but doesn't really matter, I guess.
Okay, so very, very standard starts coming out from both junglers. Both of them start opting to start out at their red buffs as Exili's side wants to get some early aggression down right there, and Light Crow misses the Q, but that um Glacial Augment stack does land, but still, man, oh man, Exili's side deals a lot of damage. Mordekaiser is not a champion you really do not want to duel him in the early
Especially
stages.
level 1, man. Level 1, you have to respect the fact, like, 1 Q, 2 autos, his passive is up, you will be outtraded.
Definitely. And
What
right,
time are you on?
203, 204.
A little behind. Wait.
Wait, should I pause then?
Yeah, pause.
Okay.
Where did you pause?
214.
Yeah, I'll
Wait, my game's stuck a bit.
resume.
What are you on right now?
217, 218.
I'm still a bit behind. Could you drag your slider to the right?
Like, am I behind or?
Yeah, you're a bit behind. Stream is on 235, Nabru said.
Oh, go. I'm on 37, 38.
Yeah, I'm up with the stream. Okay, so in mid lane, we do see a bit of action going out. Zahir did manage to make that initiate, but does get taken down as Exili Fahad goes in. Video Gamer is also taken down by Exili Fahad as a Slogfest goes out in the mid lane right now. Exili side, he is in trouble. Katarina Bot and Light Crow are taking him down slowly and steadily, and that is a really good start coming out from Exulansis as in the bot lane. Exile are in there. Ansari dealing a lot of damage onto Dead Corporal. Microwise managing to save him just about, as Karina Bot and Exili Fahad both have double buffs in the mid lane.
I think this favors the Rise a lot better, because he gets off with a kill at level 3,
Yeah.
plus double buffs, so he can get an early reset on, get his tier, start stacking up.
What time is the stream on? Mind.
340.
The 348 right now? Or 355? Yeah. Okay, so barring those time issues aside, lots of action going down in all the lanes. Top laner did push into mid lane as we do see Video Gamer catching out Zahir. A lot of damage will be taken onto him as he completes that third stack, but Zahir completes that reinitiation with that EQ. Video Gamer is a level down, so he will disengage. You see Dead Corporal still with very little HP, still trying to farm himself back into the game. Light Crow has joined Video Gamer in contesting the Scuttle Crab as we might see another fight going out. Exili's are here, goes in, here comes Exili's side. Video Gamer is in a lot of trouble right now. He gets taken down to very low HP as he does get taken down. Meanwhile, Light Crow is being flanked by 2 members of XLE as XLE Wasil does disconnect, but there goes 2 flashes from Exiliza here and Light Crow, and that will result in no more fighting. Exiliza here is poised to take down the Scuttle Crab after that initiation. But yeah, really good fights coming out. Exulansis had that sort of lead with that kill difference, but Exili opting to contest really hard for that Scuttle Crab, which was really good decision making in my opinion. Scythe managing to come down and support his team. That is good.
Yeah, like Exulansis is the type of team who will fight early on, right? Like no matter if they fall behind or like get their leads, they will fight you, right? And it's good to see that they're contesting like all these crabs. Like Kexile should be trying to like contest these crabs early on because they know that Exulansis is weaker early game.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's higher chances that, like Kexile comes off of with a better lead.
Right.
Even
That is
though we
basically
do
what they
see
were
the
doing.
kill differences, but like to be fair, I think we missed out on the first fight, the crucial aspect that Mordekaiser did not have flash. Like he
Yeah.
lost his flash while invading the blue side.
Yeah, and Karina Bot is looking poised to drive out Fahad as much as he can, even though he does not have any semblance of items. He does have that tier, which does give him some semblance of safety when he's farming. That he's stacking up the tier at least. Ezreal has that tier as well before 5 minutes, which is good for him, as he can stack it up to the Muramana whenever he wants to. Whenever he gets those stacks. But
Yeah.
yeah, after a really like action packed first initiation, but yeah, here goes the teleport, comes out from Karina bot for into the bottom lane. We really do want to shut down Exili Ansari. Nothing doing right there, as Exili Zahir is in support. They might not want to fight this, and the disengage comes out. But that was a really good TP coming out from Karina bot, trying to force the initiative in the bot lane, which has been a bit stagnant so far.
Oh, it's really good. Like you get the early flash and heal from Kaisa, so like
Yeah.
as soon as you guys go for Dragon, I'm sure like Kaisa won't have his flash up, so that's going to be a good advantage to Exulances.
Yep, definitely. As Light Crow hits level 6 earlier than Exili's Scythe, but yeah, Mordekaiser hitting level 6 is way more dangerous than just Cho'Gath hitting level 6, even though you have that true damage coming out from his bite. Mordekaiser, just as a champion on level 6, he's just so strong because he steals those stats from you when you're in his ultimate.
It's harder to gank him as well
Yeah.
after he gets his level 6, right? So all you
Definitely.
have to do, like to gank him, you have to gank him pre-6, preferably.
And they just lost that sort of advantage right there
Yeah.
because both these laners are now. Yeah, as we do see a TP coming in from Light Crow, Exili Wasil. Oh my God, these are two back-to-back TPs that these bot lane has faced, and they do get taken down. Wasil not having a really good game here as he racks up 2 deaths on the scoreboard. Yeah, but Exulance's really nice initiative coming out from them, 2 TPs in a row to just get this dragon straight up, and yeah, they will be rewarded for that.
They knew that their bot lane, the opponent's bot lane lost their summoners and they had to punish, right?
Yeah.
But I would personally expect more from Kexile to like expect these TPs, right? Because
Hmm?
like at least the top laner should call out that you guys are pushing far up and my laner has TPs, so you have to like be respectful of that.
Yep,
'Cause
definitely.
you did lose a lot from that, right? Like Kaisa's losing CS and like you're losing the dragon and the early gold to Kindred or like the Shogat as well, right? So it's going to be pretty annoying coming mid game because these are all late game champs, right? So
Yeah. Definitely, and when you're looking at how, oh my goodness, Wasil not having a good game right here as he gets taken down again. Dead Corporal and Micro Ice, they're looking really poised to actually, dominate this bot lane. But Micro Ice has 3 kills, which is nice. Brum is known as a very potent carry champion.
I mean, the faster you get support items, the better you can support your team, right?
Yeah, so that means you do carry them in one sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, like looking at the CS differences of these teams, Ansari and Dead Corporal are just dead even on the assists, on the minions right there. But the 3 assists on Ezreal does play a favor in him having that sort of a small semblance of the lead right there. But yeah, like really evenly matched in terms of all the CS, although Side does have a CS advantage, but here goes Zahir on the gank with to Light Crow. Light Crow is in a world of hurt for him right now as he gets taken down really routinely by Exili's Side. That was a really, textbook gank coming out right there as Kindred Video Gamer is actually looking to do the Rift Herald. He has brought it down to a little bit of an HP, as we might see a smite coming out from them. Oh my goodness, what is happening right now? This is a fight going down in the mid lane as the ult comes out from Video Gamer. That is going to keep him alive for a few more seconds, but Exili's Side is not really taking enough damage. Meanwhile, in the oh my god, Microwise, those elongated limbs, those are scary while he's on the stopwatch right now. But yeah, that was a really, really weird fight going out from both these teams. I'm not sure as to who got the Rift Herald. But Exulansis
Uh,
gets taken out by Karina Bot in the process. Shutdown goes to Karina Bot. That is something that you always want. Karina Bot getting a shutdown gold, yeah. But who got the Rift Herald? That's so weird. I didn't notice.
Exulansis did. Brom did.
Bro.
Brom took it, yeah, but I think Exulansis did, yeah.
Yeah, Exulansis did get that smite off. That was insanely risky from Exulansis doing that Rift Herald while their top laner was dead. And even then, Karina Bot got that shutdown on Exili's side. So that actually played out really well for Exulansis despite them being in such a shaky position. So that was actually pretty good for them.
Yeah, you see, these tier champions are, you know, like doing so well early on, right? So you should be worried by now.
Yeah, not a good foreshadowing for any team you're playing against, right? Because you expect the Ezreal and the Ryze to be weak on in the early game, but then you have them steamrolling your lanes. So what do you do right now?
I feel like you should turtle up and like, you know, look for the fights during the objectives. Because now you can't risk like, you know, unnecessary ganks and like risking kills, right?
Yeah.
And you have to keep an eye on like, you know, the TP timers so that you don't get double TP'd on again. So you
I
have to
hear.
like try and slow the game down and look for
Yeah.
mid-game fights.
But yeah, I think that's what Exili wants to do. But Microwise and Dead Corporal do spot out Zahir camping in that bot lane bush, trying to look for a gank as they do consolidate that vision control down in that bush. Dragon's going to be up in a few soon. I can't see the dragon timer for some reason, but still, it's going to be up soon. Spawning in 1 minute 37 at 10:56, so that's going to be like 30 more seconds, I guess. But as we do see a fight going out of the top lane, Exili's side still poised to win these duels. Bear in mind, as he is a Mordekaiser, he has that Haunting Guys and a Blasting Wand, while Cho'Gath does have that Hextech Revolver and Lost Chapter, but that's still not going to do him any favors against a strong laning champion like Mordekaiser. And he is out CSing him by quite a margin, 23.
I feel like Cho'Gath got his first item
Okay, in
out
the mid
and-
lane, a fight goes on. Zahir uses the Cataclysm onto Video Gamer. He gets squished out by Exili Fahad. I'm really sorry, Itmam, for interrupting, but that fight
it's
was
all
just
good, it's
gone.
all good.
But yeah, you were
That
saying.
was a good roam by Mordekaiser. Like he just walked down, like knowing the dragon's coming up. That's really smart from him. Considering he doesn't have TP, right?
Yeah. So they are basically looking to contest this dragon. Exulansis will not go down without a fight as Microwise and Lightcrow want to engage on this. But 5 members of Exile E are going in as the flash from sight. That claw did not land onto Dead Corporal or Microwise as Exulansis are poised to make a counterattack of sorts, but they do disengage and nothing happens. But that dragon did go to the XLE side, given the fact that they had that sort of early advantage that they carved themselves out for before that dragon fight.
Yeah, it's good to see that at least, you know, Kekxile has their blood pumping, you know, like that Mordekaiser flash, you know, you can't initiate all that well against, you know, mobile ADCs, right? So, but then again, like, you know, them moving for the dragon before Exulansis was, you know, the right play. Like, they're playing it the right way. As I said, like, they have to play for the objectives.
Yep. So right now, again, both these teams looking to contest these objectives as much as they can. Pings going down in every single direction as if you see on the minimap, Cho'Gath and Kindred are actually in the enemy jungle, in the XLE jungle right there. Video Gamer and Lightcrow opting to try and secure that red buff. I think they already have, as Exulansis do get that first turret and they want to engage. Alsari uses that ultimate Void Assault, goes out, stunned by Bomb, Surge Q, Wasil and Karina Bot going out right now. Zahir comes in and slays Jet Corporal from the back. That's a 1-for-1 trade as Lightcrow wants to engage with Fahad, but no, nothing doing. Exili, Wasil, and Zahir still going to disengage as Karina Bot and Microwice's danger is still looming.
This is still overall, I think, these
Very even.
1-for-1s are still good for Exulansis.
Yeah.
They're not losing too much, and then again, like, even Kaisa didn't get a kill, right? Like, the trade wasn't for Kaisa.
Mm-hmm.
So it still poses a problem for Kekxile. So they still need to be a lot more wary and like figure out a way to not take these fights.
Yeah, but Dead Corporal needs to get himself on the scoreboard. He's still at 4 assists. He's still got
Yeah,
another assist in the last fight, but it's still
I
good
feel
for
like
him.
he yeah, I feel like he got like all the platings right. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's still I think he has a considerable lead.
Lightcrow manages to catch out Zahir, wants to take him down. Yeah, his EQ is down, his splash is down. This is going to be a slow and painful death for Exulansis Zahir. Has that tendency to get caught out in positions where he's not supposed to be. But yeah, like Exulansis are cementing this lead. This game is looking way better for them in the early game compared to the last one. As Karina Bot is caught out by actually Wasir and Wasil. I don't know if I didn't know if they would actually be able to win that fight, but Ansari does manage to get that shutdown onto Karina Bot, which is huge in my
That's a big
opinion
one,
for
yeah.
him. So Itma, what do you
They,
think about the state of the game so far, judging by what we've seen?
I think this was a good sign that like you know Kaisa got the shutdown, but still they need like a lot of these shutdowns, more of these shutdowns to get back to this game. Because I feel like the two-tier team is going to actually have a better agency mid-game as well. Because Shogat has his item completed right now, he can look for picks like you know the one on Zahir on
But yeah,
his
here
red
we do
side,
see
right?
another. There we go. There's that Glacial Augment playing that pivotal role in basically like slogging it out as Wasil is caught in the pit. Unfortunately, it's always the poor support that gets squished out when they're caught in the pit like that. And yeah, that is not good because Exilance has secured the second Rift Herald of the game, and they're just gonna use that to push down mid lane.
I mean, you have to think about this, right? Like, considering they have two-tier champions, they're playing so aggressively and they're getting away with it, right? And
Yeah.
like I personally would expect a lot more from Kexile, right? Like the way they're responding to these fights and how they're taking these fights, right? Like without you know proper vision and like you know I really don't know, man. Like I expect a lot better from Kexile here.
I think it's the support disadvantage coming out from Exili's side as well because Janna, you do have that disengage, yes, but if you're up against tier champions, as you said, Exili needs to project more of an aggressive approach, right? But Janna is not a champion that supports these sorts of aggressive team fights. Yes, of course, you have that whirlwind, you have that shield. Definitely, you can support them in some way, but you're
But
not as ideal as a Braum, right?
precisely, which is why I was expecting more of a Nautilus. Because Nautilus with
Definitely.
Kaisa is a lot more, I feel like, you know, rounds up
Makes
the comp
sense.
a lot
Yeah, it
better. But
makes more sense. But here goes Karina Bot and Video Gamer onto Zahir. He gets caught out again. A lot of damage goes on. Video Gamer with another stack right there as Lightcrow and Scythe are slugging it out right now. Okay, so Micro Ice might be in a bit of trouble as he gets slogged out by the Azir ultimate. And right now, Karina Bot and Exuliside are now in the death realm to slog it out. Exuliside looks poised to win this, and he does. That's a huge kill for him as Exili Fahad and Micro Ice are slugging it out. Dead Corporal is there as well. The ultimate gets popped out from Video Gamer to save Micro Ice. Exili Fahad is in the thick of it to 3 members of Exulansis as a chaos interrupts right now in the blue side jungle. Right now, Ansari fighting to escape with his life as he uses that E, but Video Gamer has that mobility going for him with Micro Ice in support. Is he gonna get taken down? He gets one auto attack onto him. The Q lands. Yes, it will mean curtain for him. But that ultimate, the Void Assault, almost got micro-wise, but that's still not enough damage to get him. As Exulances, meanwhile, in the Dragon Pit, they secure the first Infernal Drake as well.
this is looking really gloomy now for Kexile, to be honest. Because these fights should be favored to Kexile, and like I feel like Excellence is. I'm not sure if they're playing it superbly well, but I feel like actually like Kexile is making more mistakes.
Yeah, definitely. And Exulances are in a very comfortable lead right now. And they're not a team that can, like throw this off right off the bat because they have the scaling champions who are hitting critical mass soon. As Lightcrow looks to be in trouble right now as Exili Fahad is in pursuit. What just happened? Fahad just outplayed himself. He literally just
Um,
outplayed himself. That was a free kill waiting for him in that
uh,
triangle bush right there. But something happened.
yeah, I
But
think, you know, the nervousness is getting to them, but
yeah, I don't really know what just happened. Honestly, I'm gonna have to do a double take on that when we see the replay. But wow, okay. Exili are pretty much tilted after that first game, it looks like. As Scythe does spot out Video Gamer, he might be in trouble here, but here comes Micro Ice with that support. He has that ultimate. Video Gamer and Exili Scythe are in the death realm. He does not have enough mana to contest the Mordekaiser, and he does get taken down. That shutdown going to Scythe is a huge deal, as we do see Light Crow coming in. No, you're not going to get away with that. I'm not going to let you get away with that free kill. This is my top lane, baby, and I'm going to TP and bite you.
but I suppose that's still good for Scythe, because you're getting the kills as a Mordekaiser, you're getting your items. So
So right now we do see a comfortable 5.4k gold lead coming out for Exulansis right here, and they are exploiting every inch of that space that they've got from Exili. I feel like Exili's performance in this game has been completely lackluster, given the questionable champion choices that they've made and the questionable plays that they've been making. They did have those moments of spark when Scythe actually played really well. Pivoting against him was a good option. But other than that, they've just been on the back foot in every single fight that they've gone. And Exulances are actually looking to do Baron right now. And they've actually put it down to almost half HP. Right now it's at half HP. Exili are completely unaware of this fact. They're so anemic in this response. They know that this is going on right now, but they're still not engaging, as Karina Bot is zoning out 3 members of Exili. What are you doing? Oh my god, that is a free Baron that just went into him. Right now, Zahir goes in with that Cataclysm and that Initiate. I'm not really sure about that, as Exulances are clawing themselves back into the fight again, despite that Initiate going in against their favor. Zahir goes in with another clutch EQ, but that is not going to do anything, as Kindred picks up a double kill. Karinabat TPing in to cut out Ansari and Wasil. They might get taken down as well, as Exulances collapses on the top lane, but they might just be looking to push it through mid and run it down. But
you
right
do
now,
see that
Karinabat gets... Oh my god, Karinabat gets the kill. What are you doing, Exili? What is happening right now? I'm sorry, Itmam, you were saying...
this is quite unfortunate, man. Like, you know, we can literally sense the tilt in them, right? It's
Yeah.
quite unfortunate.
It is unfortunate. Like, a game of this magnitude and a game of this scale with players of this caliber, like both these teams have really awesome players, honestly, and it was really evenly matched from a skill perspective. But Exulances are making it seem like it's plat promos all over again.
It's just a mental game, you know. This is why it's very important to always win the first game in a best of 3. It always gives you the mental edge.
Yeah, it is. League of Legends is more of an endurance test than anything, yeah.
And you see how Exulance is built, right? Like, they know, they identified that the Mordekaiser might be the only problem from Kekxile side. And
Yeah.
like, 3 of the members, even the support went for a QSS. We have 4 QSSs now.
Yeah, Mordekaiser, who are you gonna ult? The only person you can ult is Ezreal, and even that is not ideal because Ezreal can just cut you around in your own
Most likely
shadow realm.
kill you as well. Like, he has 3 items now, so...
He has a Death Stance, Muramana, and Iceborne. Like, wow, that is... This is one dangerous Ezreal right now, and I really do not want to be in the same realm as him, honestly. But Exulances, this is basically, you know, them beating the last breath out of XLE, who are still clinging on to this game by a string. I wouldn't really count them out of the game as yet, because they do have that sort of they do have those hyper carries in the form of Kaisa and Azir, who if you allow them to get to late game, they can do something, but I'm not really sure if Exulances are the team that you will do that against, right? Because they've been so composed with their strategizing, with their picks and their calls, and the way that they've used every single advantage to their favor, unlike XLE in the last game. So yeah, I really don't see a comeback coming in from them, and it's just a slow chokehold that Exulansis has on XLE, and it's just the last breaths of XLE going out as we reach the end game of game 2.
Yeah. I do feel like, with the Rise having, 2.5 items completed,
Oh man.
and with 3 items Ezreal, I don't think there's a possibility to, like, do a 5v5 at this moment.
Yeah, some semblance of hope comes out from that shutdown onto Karina bot, but you have 4 members of Exulansis who you can do a 5v4 even against. So there goes that. Lycro flashes in, bites Azir, and just kills the bird in one fell swoop. As we do see, Sight ulted out Dead Corporal. As you said, Itmam, he gets taken down in his own realm, in his own ultimate. This is disaster for XLE. This will be the last fight of the game as Dead Corporal racks up a double kill. He's been amazing on this Ezreal. Being a tier champion, he might have gotten 10 assists, but he has 6 kills, and he's dangerous and raring. And Exulansis with a convincing win in game 2.
This is a typical Ezreal game you see in solo queue, right? Like, you see all these, assists stacking up, and eventually in the mid game you see a lot of kills just popping up.
I think like the highlight of that game was just when Cho'Gath escaped with his life against the Azir, and that drift randomly.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think
That
that
was a Drift King
was
special, bro.
yeah, that was something that tilted me beyond belief, honestly. And looking at the damage charts, holy Ezreal 20,000. No one is even close to that. Like the only person who was close was Scythe, and even he dealt like about half the damage that Dead Corporal did. That was just insane, honestly. And yeah, that was a really convincing game by Exulansis, and they do go to the semifinals after winning 2-0. Convincing performance. Looked a bit shaky in the first game, but yeah, very, very good performance by Exulansis. And congratulations to them for making it to the semifinals.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see them against Elixir. So really excited for that.
And that brings us to the end of this series between Exulansis and Kekxile. Oh my god, I really mucked those names up way too much. But yeah, stay tuned. We will be back with more League of Legends action. I guess there is another game for today. No, there are no more games for today. There are games for tomorrow. So I hope you had fun watching this series with us. It was really roller coaster and really topsy turvy. And both these teams, being how skillful they are, they did give us cracker of matches. Itmam, your final closing thoughts?
Yeah, like I really expected a lot better from Kekxile. I'm gonna repeat that again, but yeah, honestly, it was a good showing from Exulances as well. Like they showed up big time, right? Even the comeback from the first game and the second game, having 2 tier champions, like such a late game comp, and they played it out superbly.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. We wish you a good night.